Welcome to Macro. Macro is a desktop application for Mac and PC users, and it's an AI-powered document editor for writing, reviewing, and comparing PDF and DocX files. So let's dive in and see what happens when we review a 30-page credit agreement in Macro. What you'll notice immediately is there are blue and green colors on the screen. Green indicates section references, and blue indicates definitions or defined terms. In this credit agreement, there is a table of contents followed by 10 to 15 pages of various definitions. But let's jump into the body of the text and see what Macro can do. If we come down here to this clause, to finance the payment of the budgeted development costs set out in the initial development budget pursuant to the craft development contract. These are three key terms that are crucial to understanding the context of this clause right here. But what do you do right now without Macro? Maybe you have a printed copy in front of you where you have the definitions that you can refer back to. Maybe you have another monitor up with the definitions pulled up on another screen. Or maybe you fall down the rabbit hole of Command F and, as we all know, quickly lose your place as you search for these terms. But if you bring this document into Macro, within a split second, it will analyze and parse through the document and pull the definitions and link them in blue. So let's see here, to finance the payment of the budgeted development costs. Just click, and the definition will pop right up to the forefront of your screen. It tells you where it's sourced from, page 5, and then it also references the initial development budget, syndicate lenders, the syndicate credit agreement, and so on and so forth. So you can see really how easy it is with just a couple of clicks to unravel the context of this clause right here. Essentially making it a lot easier to not just understand this section, but the document as a whole. You can also click Uses and see where else this term is being used throughout the document. And let's say initial development budget is a definition you're going to be referencing frequently as you review the remainder of the document. Just click Pin, and it will render static on the left-hand side of the screen. Let's try that again. Let's see disbursement account, Pin, and it will pop up over here, rendering static. You can also make highlights, strike things through, and add comments. This is essentially allowing you to make a hit list, a key terms list, an error list, which you can then export to a Microsoft Word table and figuratively staple to the front of your document, whether you're sending to an internal team member or to clients and customers. So let's take a look at what this table looks like. You can see here, it has the location, the content, and any notes you've affixed, like in this case, I said this section needed review. Now, let's explore section references. If we are coming to this section here with the conditions precedent set forth in section 3.02, just click, and 3.02 pops up in a scrollable picture-in-picture window that you can then click definitions within, make edits in, comments, etc. You can also click this button here, which will open this section in a new tab. Up top, you can see we can now bounce between the different tabs. This takes everything that you care about in these types of documents and makes it clickable and interactive like a web page. Now, let's explore our errors detector. If we come up here to the errors detector, you can see here that Macro has parsed through the document and found any terms that may be undefined or unused, making it really easy to have a last sanity check before sending off to clients or customers. Any of the tools that you're used to using when reviewing a PDF, from text boxes to shapes to Bates numbering, page numbering, signature, OCR, all of that exists in Macro too. You can see here on the left-hand side. We also have an AI-generated table of contents. So once generated, it will pull the headings and subheadings from your document. You can bounce through really easily, and you can also mark various sections as read, so you know which sections you've already reviewed and what you have yet to review. Let's explore our search tool. If you click search, as I mentioned earlier, the classic Command F still works in Macro. You can search for terms, but in this case, there are 35 instances of interest. So if we were to pop over here to our entity search, that will essentially condense the search and look for headings, subheadings, or schedules. And finally, in Macro AI, you can chat with your document. So now we can see with this answer, there are blue terms still linked. That means you can click through this answer and still click on defined terms. But what's even more interesting is you can click show sources and see exactly where Macro pulled this answer from. Not from the ether, it's not hallucinating. You can verify that all of this information about the said interest rate and it changing is found within your document. You can also ask Macro AI to summarize your documents. This can be especially useful for long, complex financial or legal documents. Great. Now you can see here it summarized the document. It even pulled out the parties, and it again has the defined terms linked throughout, as well as the sources. Now let's say that we're reviewing this document. It's a PDF, but I want to make a minor edit. How can I do that in Macro? All you need to do is come up here to PDF and toggle over to edit. So you can see within a few seconds, I can now edit my PDF. I can also enable track changes. And with just the simple click of the @ sign, I can add footnotes, I can add a page break, I can add bulleted lists, I can type in today's date. So now you can see just how easy it is to make edits to both PDF and Word files. So let's jump into Macro Compare. Say that you want to compare multiple documents against the original. What does that look like in Macro? Well, you pull in your original credit agreement or whatever type of document you're going to be comparing. And over here, you can see that I have 3 sets of suggestions and edits from 3 different parties. So let's go in and say that GC is Ben, data and privacy is Gary, and IP is Kevin. We can then choose different colors, make it more interesting. And once I run this, we will get 4 documents back, 3 individual black lines and 1 consolidated document that will merge all 3 of the suggestions and edits into one working document. So now that we have our 4 files, you can see here it's easily accessible as PDF or docx. I'm just going to open in Macro as a preview for today's demo purposes, but these are the 3 individual comparisons. And then here's the consolidated. You can see right here, here's the consolidated version. So let's open that right up. So what you'll notice immediately is track changes. It pops up per usual as track changes. But what gets interesting is when I can search for a clause where there's a conflicting change. So I know in this case, the purpose of credit facility. Here's the baseline clause here. And then here are Gary and Kevin's suggestions that are differing. Now, what you can do here is you can actually individually go through, accept or reject changes. And you can also do that over here in bulk as you go through accepting, rejecting, accepting, etc. And this is also a good time to point out you can add comments. So you can put here like, or here. You can see over here, my comments are succinct and organized, and I can also make edits directly within the document. But I'm going to leave this as is and wait for someone else from my team to review this section. By the way, it is backward compatible with Word. These boxes will stay exactly as they are colored. And that's Macro Compare, a multi-doc comparison tool that makes merging and reviewing suggestions and comments significantly easier and faster. If we come back to our home screen, that's Macro. It's a more intuitive and beautiful way to review, compare, edit, and draft legal and financial complex documents. If you have any interest in exploring Macro for yourself or for your team, please don't hesitate to reach out. You can find us at macro.com. Thanks so much and have a great rest of your day.